Hi moms. Okay, here's what I want to talk to you about today. This has to do with when your children are struggling in a certain class, all right? And you wonder, do I keep them where they are? Do I get them a less advanced class? Do I get them a tutor? What do I do? And what I want to speak to is that we sometimes make something mean more than it is. And we operate on this fear where, if our child is in a certain class and progressing at a certain level with their peers, then what does that mean for them as the years go on? You know, if you have a high school, you want to make sure if you have this particular resume in your mind that they need to match so that they can get into a certain college. And you start to lose sight of the fact that that's not the goal of education. That's not the goal of learning and teaching. I don't know about you, but when I want to go take a class, I want to be met right where I am, okay? I don't want to be told like, okay, dive in and start way up here because I can't understand it and you'll lose me too quickly. And I'm kind of a smart person, but you've got to meet me where I am. Interesting example. I got something off of Amazon the other day and it was one of those Cuisinart small food processors. I think there was like 4 components to it. I mean, how hard could it be to put it together? Okay, it was really hard, but it didn't mean that I was gonna look at those instructions. So first I put it all together and it wouldn't work. And I thought, oh, okay, where are the instructions? So I'm like looking around, okay, I find the instruction. So now I find English and then I'm looking and I go right to the end because I figured I had done it already. I just needed the last piece to the puzzle, so to speak, because I just couldn't get that start button to work. So I go to the very end of the instructions and I'm looking at that and I'm like, oh, that's not, nope. And I find that I really do need to go back to the beginning. As soon as I go back to the beginning, I'm very quickly going through it. Okay, did that. Oh, that's where I messed up. Fine. Fix it. Okay, and now it works. That was a really good lesson because here what I said I needed. Number 1, I needed to be in a language that I could understand. And number 2, I needed to start from the beginning. You need to hear that. What we are doing with our children oftentimes is we are putting them in classes or courses and they are being thrown into the middle of something and they're being given information that they can't quite understand. So they're not getting it in a language they need to understand and they're not starting from the beginning. So what happened the other day, high school had just begun. We were probably 1 week into it. Our son Matthew came to us and said he thinks his math class is too hard. It's a Geometry 1 class. He had completed Algebra 1 in 8th grade, so it was likely that he would go into geometry and go from there. He was having difficulty with it. Now, I don't know about you, but in my house, I have kind of a different perspective than my husband does. I think that happens between a lot of marriages. So my perspective was when I hear information like this, I say, ooh, we should slow down. We got to investigate. My husband was more, don't worry about it. He can talk to the teacher. It'll be fine. He needs to move on. One of my other sons chimed in and said, well, if he doesn't do it now, he's got to do geometry now next year and he'll be behind for a year. And I thought, okay, well, let's give it another day or so. And when the same thing happened the next day, I did say to my husband, well, we have to look at this though. He's got 6 other courses that he really doesn't even enjoy, and he's not complaining about those. He really likes math and actually does well in math, and that's the one he's struggling with. So we need to listen to that too. We need to kind of weigh everything that he's saying. So what ended up happening was we spoke to a counselor and she was able to slide him down to Algebra 1. It's an advanced Algebra 1 and it slides right into his schedule and nothing else has to get moved. Perfect. Within a couple of days, he's like, I'm doing fine in algebra. Now, some people could say that's not a good decision. You kind of did the cop-out. You did the easy thing and you let him get out of it. Well, I tell you this, we're talking about learning. We're talking about learning and understanding. You need to meet someone where they are for optimal learning. I could not follow his instructions if I did not find it in a language I can understand and if I did not start at the beginning. Matt needed to go back to algebra and understand this. When they began geometry, they actually began with a review of algebra first. So it wasn't like he was thrown into geometry and said, I can't handle this. He actually assessed, wait a minute, they're beginning with a review of the ending of the algebra class they had last year. I'm not with them. This isn't jiving for me. I am struggling. And he had a total of 10 days in that class when all was said and done. He's like, it's not for me. Moms, I speak to you because I need you to understand and remember the goals here for learning, right? We want to meet them where they are and then let them go. And there are bigger goals for our ADHDers right now, right? We need them to understand that they are organized and they are disciplined and they can be focused and that they can learn and that when they hear information that they can take it in and if they struggle with it, they can go ask a question. They can find new ways of learning if they need to, and they can be their own greatest advocate. They can stand up and say to a teacher, I'm lost, or mom or dad, I'm lost. and something can get done for that. You know, and maybe if they needed to stay in a particular class, but they needed to be in a smaller group setting with only one teacher to 4 students, maybe they need an IEP. It's okay. The race isn't about trying to get them all the way near the finish line. No, you want to get them running with the pack that is most suitable to them right now. As long as they're moving forward, that is the goal. When we move forward at our pace, we build confidence. When we build confidence, we feel secure. That's when we can calm down. That's when we can learn other things that are going on around us and pick up social cues if we have problems with social cues. That's when we're not so on edge and we're less likely to be so angry because the world is against us. No, mom and dad aren't against us. They're the first person that want to help us. So I just give you all of that because I know school can be very overwhelming for a lot of us. I want you to keep your eye on the prize, which is letting them be met where they are, learn where they are today, and then slowly let them move the needle forward, okay? You got this, moms.